The power of habit. Habits are the invisible architecture of daily life. They are intricately linked to productivity and success. If we learn to cultivate good habits, we can easily power up our productivity and success. Ambitious people are always looking to improve their current realities. They are looking to improve various aspects of their lives and find joy and happiness in the journey. If one seeks success, then one needs to make drastic changes in their day-to-day lifestyle, which would eventually add up to success over a period of time. In other words, success is the sum of small efforts taken day in and day out. If we need to keep taking efforts over sustained periods of time, we need to develop positive habits. Soft skills for personal effectiveness and professional success. It's story time. How did founder and former CEO Howard Schultz lead Starbucks to success? Here's one example. Travis is a manager of 2 Starbucks locations that do over $2 million in revenue. Travis's parents were heroin addicts. He quit school at 16 and moved from job to job. He had a consistent problem with customers when they acted rude. Like the time when one of his customers at McDonald's said, "I wanted ranch dressing, you moron." Reacting to the woman, Travis shouted back, "Get out of my drive-thru," throwing the chicken nuggets at her car before his manager pulled him inside. Sometimes Travis would get so upset he'd start crying in the middle of his shift. Often late, he'd take a day off for no reason. In the morning, he'd yell at his reflection in the mirror, ordering himself to be better. But he couldn't get along with people and wasn't strong enough to weather the steady drip of criticisms and indignities. In addition to McDonald's, Travis worked at Hollywood Video. One day, a regular customer who'd gotten to know Travis suggested he think about working at Starbucks. At Starbucks, Travis was hired as a barista on the morning shift. 6 years later, Travis now oversees 40 employees and earns $44,000 a year. He's never late for work, doesn't get upset on the job, and when one of his employees started crying after a customer screamed at her, Travis took her aside to support her. "Your apron is a shield. Nothing anyone says will ever hurt you. You will always be as strong as you want to be." He picked up that lecture in one of his Starbucks training courses, an education program that began on his first day and continues throughout an employee's career. The program is sufficiently structured for Starbucks employees to earn college credits by completing the modules. The training, Travis says, changed his life. Starbucks taught him how to live, how to focus, how to get to work on time, and how to master his emotions. Most crucially, it has taught him willpower. At the core of that education is an intense focus on an all-important habit, willpower. Please note this important study. Dozens of studies show that willpower is the single most important keystone habit for individual success. Why did Starbucks decide to teach each of its employees willpower? Simple. By 2007, during the height of its expansion, the company was opening 7 new stores every day and hiring as many as 1,500 employees each week, training them to excel at soft skills, to show up on time, have strong interpersonal skills, and not get angry at patrons, and serve everyone with a smile while remembering customers' orders and, if possible, their names was essential. People expect an expensive latte delivered with a bit of sparkle. We are not in the coffee business serving people, said Howard Beher, the former president of Starbucks. We are in the people business serving coffee. If someone has trouble with self-discipline at work or at studies, they are probably also going to have trouble attending a program designed to strengthen their self-discipline after their study or during their work. One of the hardest things about this job is dealing with angry customers. Travis's manager told him, when someone comes up and starts yelling at you because they got the wrong drink, what's your first reaction? I don't know, Travis said. I guess I feel kind of scared or angry. That's natural, his manager said. But our job is to provide the best customer service even when the pressure's on. The manager flips open the Starbucks manual and shows Travis a page that is largely blank. At the top, it read, "When a customer is unhappy, my plan is to." This workbook is for you to imagine unpleasant situations and write out a plan for responding, the manager said. One of the systems we use is called the latte method. L. We listen to the customer. A. Acknowledge their complaint. T. Take action by solving the problem. T. Thank them. And then E. Explain why the problem occurred. Why don't you take a few minutes and write out a plan for dealing with an angry customer? Use the latte method. Then we can role play a little bit. Starbucks has dozens of routines that employees are taught to use during stressful inflection points. There's the what, why system of giving criticism and the connect, discover and respond system for taking orders when things become hectic. There are learned habits to help baristas tell the difference between patrons who just want their coffee. A hurried customer speaks with a sense of urgency and may seem impatient or look at their watch. And those who need a bit more coddling. A regular customer knows other baristas by name and normally orders the same beverage each day. Throughout the training manuals, are dozens of blank pages where employees can write out plans that anticipate how they will surmount inflection points. They practice these plans again and again until they become automatic. This is how willpower becomes a habit. By choosing a certain behavior ahead of time and then following that routine when an inflection point arrives. When Travis studied the latte method, he decided ahead of time how to react to a queue, an angry customer. When the queue arrives, the routine occurs. You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. Rahm Emanuel, addressing a conference of chief executives in the wake of the 2008 global financial meltdown. Soon after, he was appointed as President Obama's chief of staff. This crisis provides the opportunity for us to do things that you could not do before. Recall, from one pattern focus, a habit can change everything. Habits can be good or bad. Researcher Mark Muravan, not satisfied with explanation of willpower as a skill. A skill is something usually attained and not forgotten. So why does it seem to ebb and flow? He demonstrated that willpower is finite. Like a muscle, if used a lot, it gets depleted. Hence, if undertaking something that requires willpower, bring it earlier in the day, and if that's not possible, conserve your willpower till you need it. Not easy to put in place training for self-discipline though. Many companies tried and failed. If you have low self-discipline, you probably are not likely to attend or do the work that's needed. A study in 1992 in an orthopedic unit in Scotland demonstrated that patients will improve recovery rates following surgery if they plan and anticipate how they are going to manage the pain involved in recovering from joint operations. And if they plan themselves, not following someone else's plan, and if the plan is specific. So, not if or when pain occurs I will, but when I go to the bus stop, my knee will ache. When this happens, I will rest on a seat for 5 minutes before pushing on. Knowing their plan also meant planning ahead and thinking about what to do when their temptation to stop would be at its greatest. Hence, connection with willpower. Starbucks gives employees routines to habitualize around difficult situations. But the training manuals also have lots of blank pages. Each employee is asked to think ahead and figure out for themselves what they will do when the queue occurs and populate their own training manual. Habits are different. People are different. Muravan wondered why in some situations willpower was easy to build and in others it was not. He found that when people were given a task that required willpower and they felt they had a choice or were asked in a friendly way, it was easy to remain committed to the task. It took less willpower. if people felt coerced or forced to participate, it took more willpower and was harder to foster. Hence, giving employees a sense of urgency can radically increase the amount of energy and focus they bring to their jobs. Food for thought. Work with your mentors to reflect on the case study and develop an action plan. What did you learn? How will you use these learnings to enhance your life as a student? How will you prepare yourself for your career ahead? What new routines will you build? What is your action plan and how will you hold yourself accountable?
We about to turn it on.